What up, Canes fans? Happy Saturday morning. Let's give it a minute for the chat to fill up a little bit. So whoever's listening live or whoever's rewatching this later, good morning. Got my Cafecito right here, my cortadito, Cuban coffee, whatever you want to call it. Cheers. As Flo says, hydration. Let's see. Supreme Goon. What's going on, brother? How you doing? So yeah, we got some stuff to talk about. A couple things popped up during the week. You got the article yesterday. I don't know if any of you saw that. I'm sure some saw that floating around. That article by The Athletic. I believe it was done yesterday because that's when I first saw it, about this merger between the ACC, Pac-12, and the Big Ten, I believe, are the three conferences they're talking about. My first thought is, well, it looks like they're going to the two gigantic mega conferences that the two gigantic mega conferences, like an AFC, NFC type of thing that we all kind of predicted they're going to eventually go to, which, you know what, makes sense because they are kind of eventually going to the 16 team or 12 team playoff or whatever. I think it's 16. And yeah, it makes sense. It's going to get to the point that, in my opinion, it's just going to kind of revert back to, you know, you're in whatever conference, but basically whoever, you know, they're going to look at whoever's ranked 1 or 2 is just going to go to the championship game. But I like, you know, they're going to have a big playoff system. It's going to be expanded. And I don't know. I like the direction they're going with it, almost like an NFL style thing. It's going to get to a point where the season is as long as the NFL because with all these extra rounds in the playoffs, you know, it's going to be nice. And the matchups, which is the most appealing thing about it. Yeah, it might even be more than that, man, because think about it. There are, I mean, including group of fives and all that stuff, there are, 130, 131 Division I teams in college football. And I don't know how many of them are group of 5 or power 5s. It's probably like 50-50. But yeah, it could get past that point. But I like it, man. You think about the potential matchups, let's see. We could play team, and we can have our pick also. It's going to offer a lot of flexibility to teams. See, Kyle, man, it's early. Well, it depends. What part of the country are you in? I'm in Miami, so at 10 a.m., it's not that early. But if you're on the West Coast and it's 7 a.m., I get it. But I think this flexibility will help, and it's really appealing to a lot of teams because you can play Michigan State, Ohio State, Michigan, Notre Dame, if they become part of this. It'll be funny if they're just still independent. USC, Oregon, you know, Oregon State, Oklahoma, or, you know, no, Oklahoma State's Big 12. But you get what I'm saying. The possibilities are endless. And no longer do you have this situation of, oh, yeah, this team ran the table and went undefeated, but who did they play? No, everyone's going to have 2, 3, 4 tough teams on their schedule. And it's going to offer a lot of parity. And on top of that, it's going to be almost impossible to go undefeated in a season anymore. Will this help or hurt Miami, or should we go back to independent? I think our brand is strong enough to be on an island. Yeah, it definitely is. But this is almost the same, kind of like what I was alluding to earlier. This is almost the same thing as being independent because back in the day, I mean, look at who were independents back in the 80s. I mean, it was us. It was Florida State was independent, I think, for a while. I want to say South Carolina. That's why we played them a lot. And I think Penn State. There were like a lot of big names were independent back then. And basically, when you were independent, you kind of had your pick. And look at during that 58-game unbeaten streak, which went from 85 to 94, where we did not lose a home game. Look at the teams we beat. the Penn States of the world, the Nebraskas, the Oklahoma. I think we played the number one team in the country in that streak like 8 times or something, and we always won. So, yeah, I think this whole thing of being in a mega conference, it kind of allows us to have our pick. It's almost like we're an independent in a way. So that's why I like it. I don't like it being as long as an NFL season. That is my concern, Goon. They just expanded the NFL season, for example. If I'm not mistaken, they play 17 regular season games now, but then you kind of play less preseason. So, yeah, I'm not crazy about it unless they decide to just let colleges have 95 scholarships instead of 85, just to kind of, take the load off some of the players. That would be the only way I can see it. Or you get rid of that one matchup that it's just, us against FAMU or Bethune-Cookman, or, every Division I team has one of those cupcake games that they win by 50. Maybe remove that from the schedule. I don't know. That's a thought I've always had, because it's, why do you even have that game? 9 here, but still early. Yeah, okay. 9's a little early for a Saturday. BYU. Yes, Brown Eyes. Glad you brought that up. BYU. That was another thing that came up this week. We signed a home and home series to play against BYU, which I'm pretty excited about. A lot of people, Javi, what's going on, man? A lot of people weren't too happy that we scheduled BYU and not like UCF or somebody like that. Listen, I think they're constantly working behind the scenes to schedule good non-conference opponents, and we'll play we'll play UCF eventually. Did I say UFC earlier? No, UCF. We'll play UCF eventually, I think. So I'm sure that's being worked on behind the scenes. We'll eventually play those guys. But BYU, keep in mind, if they can keep what they've got going, like maybe they keep that head coach a little longer and that program becomes a top 15, top 20 team, because let me tell you, BYU looked strong last year. That was the best BYU team I've seen in a long, long time. BYU has a big brand as well. Yes. Maybe not so much today, but back in the day, they were a big brand. Like Colorado, for example. Back in the day, they were a huge brand. So BYU, if they can get back to that level of football, that they're a top 15, top 20 team, but 2026, when we play them, why not? I like it. Didn't they go 11-1? I believe, I think they only lost the one game against, was it Coastal Carolina? One of those other teams that was having a Cinderella season, they lost. But other than that, no, BYU's well coached. They do everything. They block, tackle. They do everything well. They're fast. They had Zach Wilson last year. That was a big reason why. Got drafted, second or third overall by the Jets. So, but I think they got a great coaching staff is my point. I think they can keep that going. Calicane, in case y'all didn't see Markeith Williams' Singletary clearly said wherever Markeith goes, he goes. Yeah, I did hear about that. I didn't see it while it was happening, but you want to talk a little recruiting for a second? Yes. I've said it many times, I like Jaheim Singletary to go to Miami. I'm like, how I'm feeling, I'm like 65, 70% that he ends up being a King. That's my feeling. They keep talking about these couple of silent commits that they have. I think he may be one of them. The other one is Jaleel Skinner. I think those two, 70%, 60 to 80%, both of them end up being Canes. That's my opinion. Then again, what the hell do I know? I'm just a fan drinking coffee on a Saturday morning, just felt like talking some Canes. Let's see what else we got. Up early with it this morning, Jay. I'm with. Thank you, brother. Just wanted to talk a little bit more on that conference realignment, those mergers, because that's big, man. Do you guys think it puts us on par with the SEC, though? Because I think that's the argument. I think, honestly, I think it does. But it depends who the SEC responds and goes out and gets, because if those end up being the two mega conferences, you got the SEC, the usual powers, you got Texas, Oklahoma. We'll see if they add anybody else. And then you got the rest of the field, I'm talking brand wise, your Miamis, your USCs, Florida State, if they ever get their crap together. Who else? Penn State, Ohio State. I mean, I like it. Beyond par, yeah. It would definitely be a bigger conference, at least for now. Good morning, John. Okay, let's say we do get Singletary. Do you think we should be concerned one of the other flips somewhere else? Oh, one of the other corners? I'm not concerned about that, 904, honestly. I think these guys, they're coming here because they all want to be a part of something. And they're coming here, number one, for that, and number two, because DVD and T-Rob are just absolutely killing it on the recruiting trail. I find it really hard to believe that those guys, even before the season starts, or even during the season, that they lose one of those guys because Singletary comes in. I think they're here because they want to compete, honestly, and they want to take this program to the next level. Now, we go 8-4, 7-5. Yeah, that's the only way I would see a couple of these corners bailing. But I don't think we have that problem. I think absolute worst case scenario, this is an 8-4 team. That's the floor, which I haven't been able to say that in a long time. Because in past years, the floor was like 6-7 if, the bottom falls out. I think worst case, if the bottom absolutely falls out, we're still like 8-4. I mean, that's worst case if there's like a rash of injuries and all that stuff. I don't think that's going to happen. This is 8-4 to 11-1 type of team at this point. So I don't see us losing any of those guys just because we bring in a guy like Singletary. Will the tight end class scare off Skinner? No, I don't think so. I don't see why it would. Because Jaleel Skinner is a guy that he's like another Brevin Jordan. He's going to come in and get snaps right away as a freshman. And when you say tight end class, do you mean other guys we're bringing in, or do you mean like who's on the team right now, like the tight end room? Because yes, Arroyo is destroying it right now in practice, as I expected. We were all saying it on everyone's channel. We're saying Arroyo's going to be special, and so far he's showing signs of that. But no, I think Will Mallory's gone after this year, and he'll likely get drafted pretty high. And then you're down to Arroyo, Mammarelli, Hodges. I think he's got one more year. Arroyo. Yeah, so you're down to Arroyo, Mammarelli, Hodges, guys like that, Khalil Brantley. But Jaleel Skinner has the talent to go toe-to-toe with Arroyo for playing time. So there's no reason that the tight end room should scare him off. Let's see. That would be the best conference. Yep. Wait, whose comment was I on? Oh, Supreme Goon. Ohio State, Michigan, Oregon, Miami, Clemson. Oh, I forgot about Clemson. USC, Penn State, Nebraska. Yeah, I mean, the amount of big brands and powerhouses and blue bloods in this mega conference would be insane. And imagine that it would be, you'd have an NFL caliber schedule as far as parity, which, I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think that'll make it more fun, that now you'll probably have like 2 or 3 lost national champions? I mean, that's how it is in D2 in FCS, and they've had a playoff system forever, and it's fun. It's fun to watch. So yeah, the days of needing to run the table to win a national title, I think are gone. That might be a good thing. Let's see. Good morning, John. Do we have your permission to hit the like button? For you, Al, yes. You may indeed hit the like button, please. No, seriously, hit the like button, hit the subscribe. I know I kind of did this on short notice, so the chat is not very big at the moment. But now that the season's approaching, Saturday's football day. It's like I want to start doing it every week now that the season's starting. This little Cafecito con Canes series. So yeah, please hit the like button, subscribe, tell your friends. Let me know if let me know if 10 a.m. is too early for you, because I kind of want to do this like as kind of a pregame thing, get you guys ready for football going into the day. So just a thought I had. Okay, Georgia Tech putting together a solid class. They just got Jalen Marshall. Yeah. No, Georgia Tech in the next year or two is going to be a force in the ACC. I really like their quarterback. I really like their coach. I like this new offense that they're employing. Yeah, Georgia Tech's going to be very good. I don't know if they're going to be quite on par with like where we're going to be in a year or two and where Clemson is, but they're like in that next tier with like NC State and Pitt, maybe even past them. Let's see, forgot FSU and UNC. Yeah, the television money will be through the roof. Absolutely, 100% agree. 100% agree. Also minimizes the SEC from picking those remaining stronger teams. I think that's one of the reasons they're doing it, Javier. It's like, no, you can't have any more. They just got Texas and Oklahoma, which is absurd. So they're kind of locking down the rest of the country. Like, no, you can't have any more. So if, this has kind of been, I guess this has been talked about behind the scenes for a while. If they end up doing this mega conference thing, who's left for the SEC to pick up? Because now they're the smaller conference. They're going to have to go get some. Do they go get a few like big name group of fives? Do they just clean out the rest of the Big 12? Do they get like the Cincinnatis and the BYUs of the world? What do they do? Let's see. Read the statement before that one. What was before that one? Oh, I must have missed it. All right. So, yeah, it's time for Miami to start working on the trenches for this class. Oh, 904, they are. Trust me. They are. I don't know if you saw, but Malik Agbo, it looks like there's some smoke there. I like who we're going after at O-line. I love the flip commitment. A lot of people think he's a project. I think he's competing for playing time by 2023. I mean, like starting playing time. I think the guy's that special. He just needs a little experience. But, you're getting him. You're probably getting Snoop. Those are two guys that are developmental guys in some people's eyes. You need a guy that's more ready, more game ready. And I think Malik Agbo's that guy. And he came out and said, this is a quote that I read, that he said he really likes Miami's class, that hashtag 22 to the U is going to be one of the best classes they've ever had. So he really likes us, and he's talking a lot of good things about our class. He knows a lot of the guys in the class. So, yes, we are working on the trenches offensively. Defensively, we're working on Anthony Lucas. We're working on who else? And I think really Anthony Lucas, according to Flo, in his Flow Motion earlier this week, he says it's probably down to us and another team. So there is a lot of smoke there with Anthony Lucas, more than people want to admit. He really does like Miami. He's got some connections. So that's a 5-star stud that we can get right there. And, of course, you got Shamar, Nigel E. Kelly, Marvin Jones Jr., the possibilities there for him. And even as a fallback plan, you got a guy like Dante Anderson. And then you got guys like Hastings and Daniel Lyons. Believe me, that they are working on the trenches. You wait. What would you call a conference that has Pac-12, ACC, and Big Ten? That's an interesting question. What do you start naming these conferences? Do you name it? Do you give the conference a name and then you give them like divisions? Because again, it's becoming like AFC, NFC, like NFL style. So yeah, I don't know. I think eventually it gets so big you have to start breaking it up into divisions. Yep. Let's see. Manny, what's up, man? So what else is going on? It'll be that more like 30 versus 30. Yeah. Hastings, Lucas, Jones, and Lyons. Is that who you like for us to pick up, Supreme? Because let me tell you, I'd be very happy with those 4 on my D line. I'd be good with that. And if you get Lions, you might get Anderson as well. So yeah, I see us, to address the trenches thing, I see us probably getting 4, maybe 5 D linemen. We'll see. But probably 4, like 2 DNs and 2 D tackles, or 3 DNs and 1 D tackle. Because Jess Simpson likes that versatility, so Lucas could play both. He's 280 pounds, but he wants to play DN, so you have that. And then on O-line, it's looking like it might be 3, but I want 4 because you need to be deep in the trenches. So 4 and 4, I'd be good with. Let's see. I can't see that, to be honest. What, Hastings, Lucas, Jones, and Lions? I see Lions. I see Lucas, possibly. More than Hastings and Jones, personally. I still like Shamar to come here, and I like Anderson. Those were my picks. Let's see. There isn't 60 elite teams. It'll be watered down. That's why that's not what they're aiming for. Yeah, no, I understand there isn't 60 elite teams, but does it water it down to an extent? Honestly, no, I don't, because I think this opens the door for more favorable matchups. You have the flexibility to schedule who you want. Like half your schedule can be, let's take it to, for example, Miami. Half your schedule can be Michigan State, Ohio State, FSU. Let's see, name another hard team. Oregon, and then the rest of the schedule can be, Pittsburgh, Virginia, Vanderbilt, and a couple other easier schools. So, that could work. You can balance it out like that, where, if you want to be in the conversation for a national title, now you kind of have to schedule 4 or 5 big name teams. Right now, what are our 2 biggest weaknesses? Good question, Manny. I like that question. Before I answer that, hydration. Need my caffeine. 2 biggest weaknesses. I mean, I still think it's linebacker at the moment, just because they're unproven. But right now, it's kind of by default because they strengthen so many other positions. I'm feeling much better at corner, and I'm sure the rest of the fan base is. Quarterback, we're good. Running back, we're good. Maybe right tackle. If I can name a specific position, right tackle would be maybe a weakness. I would say right tackle and linebacker right now. Right tackle, just because, we're probably going to, with John Campbell hurt, unfortunately, we're probably going to settle for Jared Williams, or DJ Scaife at right tackle, who I think both will do okay. I don't think either one is going to dominate, but they'll both do okay. Linebacker, I wanted to bring this up. Sam Brooks is back at practice. That's huge. So, I really think we're going to be improved at linebacker. That's just my opinion, because you got Brooks back. You got Huff in there now. You got Smith. You got the other Smith, Chase Smith. You got Flag. Jennings is healthy. Steed is healthy. McLeod moved over to DN. So that linebacker room looks totally different. But I'll say linebacker just kind of by default, because we improved everything else more. Michael Williams is a sleeper in this class. Ooh, yes. Yes. I know, I don't know off the top of my head, but I know Flo kept alluding to a surprise, a mystery D lineman. I don't know if that one was the one, because he kept saying, oh, nobody else mentioned it in their predictions. So maybe that's him. FSU average rating for recruits is 89. Miami is 90. We're recruiting elite players who won't decommit. Agreed. I love what we're doing. Do you feel like I do when it comes to the D-line, Manny as defensive coordinator, Jess Simpson, and last 2 years, first-round picks that Miami should be able to land not 1 but 2 of the top elite guys? Yeah, it's why I keep saying I think we're going to get Shamar and possibly Kelly. My predictions still are Shamar, Anderson on the ends, Lions, and maybe Lucas. Hopefully Lucas. That would be amazing if we land him. Good morning, John. Way to start a Saturday morning. Yes, sir. Like I said, hey, it's almost football time, man. Saturday mornings, like, it brings back memories of as a kid, I'd be in bed, turn on College Game Day, but you don't need College Game Day. You got me. You got all the YouTubers, way better content. Let's see. Will we keep the same playing style here on out, even if Lashley were to get a head coaching job a few years from now? Or do they bring in a new system? No, I mean, essentially it'll be a spread offense, but maybe a slightly different variation of it. Manny's not done. Ideally, I want Manny here for the next 3, 4, 5 years, so he has time to really build and establish what he's trying to build. Say Lashley's gone after this year, he'll bring in someone that pretty much runs the same type of system. Either he'll promote Likens, or if Likens goes with Lashley, he'll bring in some young hotshot play caller from the group of 5, because they're always churning out good play callers, it seems like. Bring in somebody like that and pretty much pick up where Lashley left off. So, yeah, I don't think it's not going to be a new system. Maybe some tweaks to it, but we're not going backwards and going away from the spread offense. That's for sure. What's up, Max? Rise and shine, buddy. What is it? It's 7:30 in your time right now? Bergie, linebacker O-lines will prove it otherwise. That's fair. That's fair. The O-line still needs to prove it. But let me tell you, O-line may be the position I'm most excited to watch, just because we've improved so much size-wise. I mean, I know Wholesome talks about it a lot. Shout out to Wholesome. I am just sick of seeing the last decade of, in the offseason, they'll be like, oh, everybody's crushing their strength numbers and, hitting, new goals on in the weight room and all that. But then you see them in the season. I mean, you thank Al Golden for feeding us those lies. Then the season starts and you see our O-line is way smaller than the other guys whenever we played a big opponent. And I'm sick of it. Now it seems like we have an O-line for sure at the guard position with Donaldson and Rivers. That is elite SEC size right there. Zion, he may be a smidge smaller than the typical first round left tackle, but I mean, he's gone from 245 to 315 or whatever it is, and the dude looks ready to make that next step. So love where we're at guard. I like where we're at left tackle. It's just the center and the right tackle position that we still need to upgrade with size and talent. But we're on our way. We're getting those guys. I'm not surprised. I'm not that impressed with this year's Alabama team. Completely new staff, defensive staff, and all that. Their secondary sus, especially outside corners. They're replacing a few O-linemen and Young, and it's Young's first game. I am of the opinion that it's still Bama, but yes, a lot of inexperience on offense. Defense, they're returning a lot of guys, so that defense is going to be nasty. I really don't care who they have on the coaching staff. It's still Saban. So they're going to be prepared. But on offense, that could be where we could exploit them a little bit, maybe in the first half, and maybe jump on them early, maybe force a turnover or two. That would be our chance, I think. 7:30 on my off day. Guess no sleeping for me. Yep. You'd rather listen to some Canes talk than sleep. I get it. I've had those days. Supreme. Don't like Likens' offense. Give me Coastal Carolina OC Graham Harrell, Kendall Briles if he leaves. Yeah, look, every year there's options as far as coaches, but we don't need to look that far ahead. Who knows? Maybe Lashley loves who we have at quarterback moving forward so much with Garcia and TVD and now Ja'Cory Brown. Maybe he stays a third year. Maybe we pay him a little more. Maybe, we win our 10, 11 games and he's like, man, we're so close. I can't leave yet. Let me help this team win a national title or get into the playoffs at least. Then I could write my own ticket. I have my pick of where I want to head coach after that. Maybe he does that. It's very possible. Let's see. Yo, Greg, what's up, man? I heard that Bama's best D tackle is out for the Canes game. Really? Interesting. I got to look into that. I did not catch that. Thank you, Javier. I heard you say something earlier. You think Campbell would have beaten Williams for that right tackle position? I think he definitely had a chance. The reason I think that is, first off, when we had on Flo's channel, we had Ja'Kai Clark like 2-3 weeks ago come on the show, and we asked him some questions. And I remember asking him, hey, who do you think, since Coach Justice has taken over, like in the last year and a half, who has shown the most improvement? Who's made the biggest strides? And he said, without hesitation, John Campbell. Like, he is a different dude. And let me tell you, John Campbell's the one guy at the tackle position, like besides McLaughlin and like the really new guys, the one guy that has the size and has the talent. And I thought at the time was healthy, but it turns out he's not. Because here's the thing with Scaife and Williams. Williams has the size. He's 6'7", 6'8", huge wingspan, but not much of a people mover. He's decent. He'll protect De'Ara King. He'll give him 3 seconds to throw, and that's about it. Nothing special. Scaife, I think, has a little more talent and a little more upside at right tackle, but he's 6'3". He doesn't quite have the size, which is concerning against teams like Bama. Campbell, I believe, is 6'5", over 300 pounds. So he has the ideal size and also has the talent. He has both. So, yes, I really believe he could have competed and eventually won that right tackle job. That was the ideal situation, in my opinion. But unfortunately, we'll have to wait a little bit. That's all I want to hear, that Miami gets at least 2 guys on the caliber of Kelly and Stewart. Manny's D depends on guys of that capacity. Let's go. Brooks is back. I'm loving it. Yep. A lot of positivity around the program, man. I'm loving it. How confident are you in Manny playing a lot of the younger guys this year? I mean, give them real game time burn and not garbage minutes. I'll give you a couple of examples of guys that I think he's going to play early. Chase Smith is going to get some early playing time for sure. If I'm wrong, you can call me out on that, but I believe that dude's special. And the second he gets on the field, it'll be very hard to pull him off, because he's just a freak and just a flat out, he's a football player. He knows what he's doing out there. Let's see who else. I know Keyshawn Smith. I think he's a redshirt sophomore, so I don't know if he's a young guy, but Keyshawn Smith has been named, one of the starting 3 pretty much every day at camp for all their drills. So Keyshawn Smith is getting playing time for sure. Xavier's getting playing time. Let's see who else. James Williams, he's going to find his way onto the field. He'll play a little bit against Bama, I'm sure. So will Leonard Taylor. They'll figure into the rotation somehow, and more as the season goes, especially against like the CCSUs of the world, App State, if we get a big lead. Yeah, those 5 guys I just mentioned, they're Keyshawn is a freshman. Oh, okay. Redshirt freshman. And then you got the extra COVID year. So, there's that. So Keyshawn technically is still a freshman. But yes, Bergie, to answer your question, I'm confident in guys like Keyshawn, Leonard Taylor, Chase Smith. They are too good to keep off the field, in my opinion. They're too good to keep off the field. Are they going to start? No, I don't think so. Elijah Arroyo, another one. But they're going to play this year. They have to. Their best D tackle got hurt. Not sure of the timeline. Okay. All right. Maybe there's something we could take advantage of. I mean, I don't ever wish injury on the other team, but you do what you got to do. Kane, Idaho. Good morning, degenerates. So you're in Idaho. Kane, Idaho. What's up? What's the time over there? How early is it? I'm not sure what time zone that is. Let's see, 904 Hurricane. I'm convinced Saban took that linebacker as a strategic move against Miami, knowing it's our weakness and would improve our chances greatly. Oh, Henry Toa. I think he just wanted him because he's a badass linebacker and Saban wants the best players. Excuse me, folks. Because I'm curious, since Kate Idaho made that comment, I want to know where Idaho is. Oh, yeah, Idaho's way out west. I wasn't sure if that was Mountain or Pacific time. So yeah, thank you, Kane. 8:35. Okay, so you're Mountain time. All right. Well, thank you for being on, man. Supreme Goon, Harvey, Hunt, Nesta, Johnson. Wait, I lost my place. Harvey, Hunt, Nesta, and Johnson. Linebacker, Brooks, Smith, Ivy. This defense could be elite for sure. Yes, it could be. It's all going to depend. I mean, of course, on the linebackers, but a lot of it is going to depend on that edge rush. Our D tackles are strong. I have no worries about how our D tackles are going to look with Nesta, just Nesta and Hunt. And then you add Leonard Taylor and Elijah Roberts and guys like that. We are so solid at D tackle. It's ridiculous. D end, I think Harvey and Chance, have that ability to be really good. Can they step up and be those next first round caliber guys? If that happens, and DJ Ivy continues improving like the way I'm hearing in camp, yeah, absolutely, this could be an elite defense, at least top 10. Henry To'oTo'o was never coming here. It would have been Ohio State if it wasn't coming here. I'm not so sure about that. I think there was interest at one point with To'oTo'o, but ultimately Ohio State and Bama was too appealing. We won't start 2-3 techs at D tackle. That's a good point. A lot of people like the combination of Nesta and Hunt. Maybe there'll be some packages where they're both in, like, more passing downs because they just get after the quarterback. But yeah, for the rest of the chat, what he's saying is Hunt and Nesta are both 3 technique D tackles who they line up between the guard and the tackle. 1 or 2 technique. I don't want to mess up the Wholesome would know exactly, but the 2-eye or 1 technique, I think, is more inside. You line up with the center and the guard. Usually you start one of those and then you start a 3 technique guy. So it'll probably be like Ford and Nesta or, Ford and Hunt, Miller and Hunt, that kind of combo. But they're going to be rotating guys. But Hunt is going to get a lot of playing time. John, what was it? John, what I was saying before, do you see buyouts and pickups to make Alliance stronger, thus crippling the SEC from becoming stronger? I freaking hope so, man. The SEC's had their run. It's time for a change. Yeah, LeBron Ray is hurt. Okay, so that must be the D tackle you guys are talking about. Bear Alexander released his top 2 yesterday. Yep, I knew we weren't going to be on that. Unfortunately, Flo will not be able to get his bear tattoo. Sad day. No more walk-ons playing over scholarship players from here on out. Yeah, no, those days are done. Those days are completely done. I know Ryan Ragon, it's a great story, and he's a scholarship player now, but yeah, no, that cannot happen anymore. I think we showcased a new scheme a few times on defense this year. Yeah, you know what I think is going to happen, Goon? We're going to see. I think one of the reasons Manny didn't go out and get a portal linebacker is because we're going to see a lot of packages where it's just 1 linebacker on the field. Where he just wants speed out there. You may see Frierson and Amari Carter on the outside in some packages. Maybe you throw a James Williams in there, Chase Smith, and then you just have like flag in the middle, making sure everybody's lined up and stuff. Not a new scheme, but a lot of different packages. Yeah, that's what we're getting at. Yeah, it's going to be the same scheme for the most part, but you might, instead of 2 linebackers and a striker, you have basically 2 strikers or whatever you want to call the striker on the other side. I think it has a different name. Or maybe a slot corner out there. He's going to mix and match different things, but the key is going to be having speed out there to defend against the pass, to get after the quarterback, and, penetrate and make plays in the backfield. I love it, and I think that's a great idea. Let's see what else we got. Did I miss anything? Yes, I did. I know Max corrected me earlier. Yes, because of COVID and everything, Keyshawn is still technically a 2 freshman. He has eligibility Redshirt year still needed. Yeah. So Keyshawn, I don't think he's going to need it. I think Keyshawn's going to play a couple of years and he's out. He's that good in my opinion. That dude's about to bust out. James Williams has better hip movements than I thought. Yes. For anybody who's watching the drills from practice that Inside the U and everybody's been posting, James Williams looks like a natural at that position. I still think it's going to get to a point where he's so big he has to drop down. I mean, he's what, 6'5", 221, 222, something like that. And some people even say, no, he's like approaching 6'6", actually. He's a smidge over 6'5", which is ridiculous. Maybe he puts on like 10 more pounds of muscle. At that point, you have to drop him down, I would think. Please don't say we're going to have only one linebacker on the field against Bama. They'll eat that up all day. Not if we blitz at the right time. We're not going to beat them on size, but we can beat them on this, And we're not going to be doing that all day against Bama. I'm talking like this season in general, not just Bama. We'll see. That's an interesting point. How are we going to line up if they line up big, like jumbo sets against us? How do we stop that? That's a fair point. Let's see what else. Are we heading to heavy safety play this year? 3-4 all. I see packages where we have 3 safeties on the field. That's what I was alluding to earlier. Maybe you got Hall and Bolden, or Kinchins and Bolden out there. And then maybe you throw in James Williams as well. This safety room's too talented. You gotta have packages where you have 3 of them out there. I totally agree. I like the type of bodies the staff in recruiting class are bringing a lot of length and size, but also versatility. Each of the corners are 6 feet plus with long arms. I love it too. And I noticed that the last 2 recruiting classes, it's not just corner. They're getting specific body types for every position, it seems like. But corner's an obvious one. Everyone seems to be 6'1", 6'2", 180, 190 pounds at least. I love that. I love it. Too many years of short corners. I'm done with that. So we have size at corner, size at tackle. Because have you noticed everybody's like 6'7" at tackle? That used to be absurd size 10 years ago. Now that's the norm. So, yeah, I love it. I see a lot of first or second down blitzes. Yeah, no, I want to see that play where Corey Couch comes in from the slot corner on a blitz. We did it a lot on third down, but I want to see it more on first down. I love corner blitzes. I love a safety blitz where maybe the DN also drops back into coverage to pick something off. It worked. It almost worked against Clemson, that first possession. I understand, but just the thought of that against Bama scares me. We got to be real careful with blitz packages against Bama City. We'll be more prepared for it. We can't mess that up. No, I agree. No, it's valid. Look, I'm going on record as saying I don't think we're beating Alabama. Could we throw them off their game and cause some havoc? Sure, because we haven't put film on, like we haven't put anything on film of that aggressive Manny style defense that he liked to run back in 2018 since back then. So he's going to have some tricks up his sleeve, and he's been preparing. Manny's been preparing for this game the whole offseason. We're going to have some tricks up our sleeve that they might not be ready for. That's why I think in the first half, this could be very much a dogfight. Need to rattle the freshman QB. Yes, I agree. All right, guys, I'm going to be on probably for like 5 more minutes, so throw your questions at me. Heard the portal will factor into the year's final team rankings. I think we get into the top 10. Yeah, everyone's saying, we'll probably get like 18 or 19 high school kids. I think it might be a little more because we'll just – the momentum of this class, I think it's just going to be like this guy and this guy and this guy want to be part of it. We got to make room. We got to open up a couple more slots. So maybe we only get 4 portal guys instead of 6 or 7. I can see a situation where that happens, but we'll see. I like too many guys. Like, there's one, Devin Jackson. Apparently there's a lot of interest there. So I think we're going to get Wesley. And what if a third elite linebacker like Devin Jackson decides to hop on board and we don't have room for it? Well, then get one less portal guy. And there you go. Problem solved. With Medlock. I really like Medlock, man. I'm just not going to lie. I know he's kind of under the radar. He was hurt last year, but I really like Medlock. All right, guys. If let's see what else. Oh, did anybody catch the Greg Rousseau last night? Just bull rushing Penei Sewell. That was fun to watch. I think all these nerds that came out and said that, oh, he's not a true 4-3. First of all, you obviously didn't see him play, if that's what you think. That he's not a 4-3 DN or whatever the hell they were saying. Oh, he fits more in this scheme. The dude's a freak. I think his pro day scared a few people. He was out of shape, let's be honest. That dude gets in shape and gets refocused, he's a monster, and obviously he was. Dominated Sewell. Yes, he did. Yep. I think Penei Sewell, for the record, is going to have a fantastic career. He's just too good. But I think I'm a Dolphins fan. I'm here in Miami. I'm looking forward to that game today at 1. I think they made the right decision not getting Sewell. I think they made the right call getting a playmaker. Jaquan played well too. Oh, did he? I'll have to go back and look at that. I'm assuming you mean Jaquan Johnson. That's good, man. The guy's got all the ability in the world. Rousseau, better upside than Phillips. Maybe. We'll see. I hope they both kill it, man. Hey, John, one last thing. We need to start a new hashtag. Cut the check for Red. I like that. Cut the check for Red. You know what? Start blowing that up. I love it. I love it. There was one more I wanted to look at. Thanks for the shows. Yeah. Hey, thanks for being on, Bergie. Oh, here it is. Final question. Who's the second safety we got? I think it's going to end up being, I thought Nick Cole before, and I know he's probably going to drop down. I think it's going to be someone who's a tweener, like a Nick Cole or an Alfonso Allen. I think we end up getting Alfonso Allen. I know some are like, well, what about depth at safety? I think we're good at safety. Honestly, I don't think we necessarily need to get 2 true safeties. Someone can also convert, can always convert. You can get a portal guy. But I think, I think we get Alfonso Allen. He ultimately drops down to weak side linebacker. That's my prediction. Shout out to Utah for that hashtag. Oh, that was from Utah. Okay. Shout out to him. Roche been killing it. Cole. Think it's gonna be Cole? It's either Cole or Allen. I was leaning Cole before. I'm leaning more towards Alfonso Allen now. But yeah, guys, I think 45 minutes. I think that's pretty good. You know what? This was fun. I think I'm gonna do this every Saturday. I'm gonna go kill my Cafecito here. I'm all caffeinated up. Got me all fired up with this Canes talk, but I think, I think this is good. I want to start doing this every Saturday now. Let me know if 10 a.m. is too early, because I know the chat didn't really fill up probably to like 10:20, 10:30. I know some of you guys are on Mountain Time, like Kane, Idaho, or West Coast time, like Max. Let me know. What do you guys think? Love Allen, young man is a baller. Yep. All right, guys. I think that pretty much does it for me. Be back next Saturday. Yes, sir. Please, before I forget, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, help me get to that 1,000. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, folks. As always, it's all about that you. Go Canes. Oh, and go support the YouTube network. Canes Insight, Canes Breakdown, Miami Flow, of course. They got a new show that premiered earlier this week. I got to go rewatch Squad that. I didn't have time earlier, but Rasta Edits and David Franklin are going to have awesome guests moving forward, so go follow that. As always, all about the you. Go Canes. Have a good weekend.